I've got Bill in the 4 spot, N6BCT. So if there's anyone else, check in now. The number start here in just a couple minutes. You want to be a little early check-in, you can come now.
WA7 YBS.
Hey, good morning, man. How you doing, Henry? WA7 YBS. I got you in the 5 spot, sir. Is there a number 6 check-in? Come on. Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and get the net started here. So, good morning to all. And this is K0DWC Chuck in Dayton, Nevada, and we're operating on 3.974 megacycles. And you guys know the spiel. If you got anything for sale or want, please mention it. Returns in the round table session. Military gear is encouraged, certainly not required, and check-in can be given a number. And, we got a good start to a round table here, so let me do the rundown one more time, and then I'll call out for number 6, and then we'll go from there. Number 1, W7MS. Number 2, W6MQI. Number 3, W6SSP. Number 4, N6BCT. And number 5, WA7YBS. Okay. Is there a number 6 out there that wants to check in on the tail end here, the first round? You can come now. And you're 6 out. Good morning, Ron. Good signal this morning. Everybody's got a good signal, even Bill this morning. Ron, I've got you in the number 6 spot, sir. Is there a number 7 out there for the Vintage Military Radio Net? You can come now. Okay, nothing heard. So, anyway, yeah, Carla was supposed to do the net this morning, but she went to work yesterday, and they got slammed pretty good. She didn't get home till after 5. She worked in the morning, but she came home pretty tired. So I'll extend my apologies for that. She'll be back in her normal time slot. Henry will be net control next weekend, and then I'm going to keep my spot on the 30th. Then Carla again. So that way I can keep the order the way it is. So anyway, this is K0DWC, and we're running the ART-13 this morning with the ARR-7. Combined with the Teledyne R390A from 1962. I've got that on the loop antenna. And, well, this watt meter says, yeah, I don't believe that. The watt meter says 300 watts, but I doubt that very seriously. I don't even know if I'm doing 200 watts, to be honest with you. I'll just say 200 watts for the sake of the argument. But anyway, running through an inverted V with a D104 amplified mic. So that's the rundown here. So with that, we will send it over to Reno. And what is Mr. Mike running this morning? W7MS in the group, K0DWC. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, thank you, Chuck. K0DWC in the great group. W7MS Mike in Reno. Yeah, good conditions this morning, and it's dark 30 and the wind's blowing. So just another breezy day. Why bother to pick up the garbage in the yard because it's on the move, and of course there's garbage on the move from to replace it. But that's the story here. This morning running the RCA Victor Limited Company ATR-11A, courtesy of an independent sovereign country of Canada, and that's driving a 30S1 at about 250 watts a carrier. So I decided to give the National 600 a rest. Did some continued work on that, which I'll maybe mention And did relieve the sticking HRO 5TA1 sticking S-ometer. We did remedy that mechanical issue. So just another fantastic, busy week, work week, radio-wise, hobby-wise. So over to Dave in Livermore, W6MQI, W7MS. W7MS, W6MQI. So thanks for taking a net. You want to take a break there? Your ARC sounds good here in Livermore. And Mike, that ATR, man. Nice, strong audio, clear, very military sounding. And let's see, the radio here today is my newly refurbished PRC 174 with an H189 handset, driving the Drake L7 amplifier for about 150 watts or so. And temperature here today is 42 degrees. Clouds, as I noticed, blue, red, but it's raining at the So, let's get here. So, overseas, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. Thank you very much. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm putting out power. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Chuck with Carl in the background, Mike, Dave, Bill, Henry, and Ron. Relatively small group this morning, but maybe more will chime in later. Anyway, this is Steve, W6SSP, just north of Santa Rosa. Using the classic Collins setup, 75A1 receiver and matching 32V1 transmitter with a blazing 85 watts out into a dipole about 30 feet up. Microphone is an unamplified original D104, which amazingly still works as far as I know. And let's see, Mike, your ATR 11 sounds fantastic, as does your PRC 174, Dave. Good conditions today. No low noise level, which is nice. The last couple of weeks it's been pretty high here, but not this morning anyway. We had a pretty good storm blow through, I think it was Tuesday afternoon, something like that. It was raining most of Wednesday, so I didn't really get out in the backyard to see what was going on. Well, when I finally did get out there, I discovered the top of one of my redwood trees. 16-foot piece of it came barreling down onto the tin roof of the added garage out back, and pretty much wiped out a vertical trap vertical that I use in the cabin. So I'm going to see if I can piece that thing back together, maybe a little bit later, not now. And I'm amazed that it missed the fan dipole that's up in those very same trees. It must have missed it by inches. This was a big chunk of wood that put a really big dent in the corrugated metal. So that's what I've been doing this week. Not fun, but hey, when you got trees, that's what you got to do. So we'll pass on to Bill, and beautiful happy day. N6BCT W6SSP.
We got a crack neck running for you, and I haven't got much else to say really right now. So I'm going to tell you that right here.
Okay, Bill. All right, yeah, I had to do a little tweaking and peeking. And, yeah, very fine. Okay, good conditions. Everybody is sounding just very good in here. And, okay, Chuck, on Carlos. And we'll hope to hear her maybe a little later. Well, it was 44 degrees this morning here. Clear skies, although I'm sure that's just a temporary thing. And so, anyway, the mild before the storm, which is they seem to be incessant in the last couple of weeks. So anyway, we're running once again the columns 32V3, and although I have 140 watts of input power, this wonderful new watt meter shows 80 watts output. I don't know if I believe that or not, but hey, what can I say? The specs say it's 10% accurate. It must be on the low side of 10%. But at any rate, maybe I should have bought a bird. I don't know. Anyway, I did check out the W4, and it reads high. So, I don't know. You just can't believe watt meters, even when you're going into a dummy load. So, there you go. Well, anyway, the receiver is the Raycal RA17L, and it's the Royal Army version with the silver hammer tone cabinet and a very nice receiver. So that is the antenna is the collinear array, which had a failure, had a break. I know I've been complaining the last couple of weeks about erratic carrier levels, maybe the plate current dropping 30 milliamps and then bouncing back up again, and traced that to the antenna. Of all things, the south leg of the collinear array, the loop that goes around the center insulator and holds that section of wire, broke, and so that particular south end wire wanted to drop, of course, but the feed line, the feed line was soldered to that wire, but that little feed line there had to hold 130 feet of wire, so it was straining, and I think it was breaking some of the strands in that ladder line. So anyway, I replaced that I cut off 1 foot of the feed line, made the new connections and everything, fixed the brake. So we're back to everything seemingly very stable, and hopefully it stays that way for a while. With that, let me turn it over to Ron, NU6F, WA7, YBS.
Okay, let's see how many watts. 215. Anyhow, good morning, Chuck, Mike, Dave, Steve, Bill, Henry. First of all, I thought, man, what horrible condition. Hard to copy anybody in. And I thought, wait a minute, that noise sounds familiar. Yeah. Charger for the motorcycles off the garage. And now flip that off. Voila, everybody's out in the clear. Okay, good deal, guys. Well, we'll see what breaks this morning. We've sure had probably luck on that for the last couple of weeks. I don't know what now. I got Bruce Allen and Butterwood time before that. But anyhow, here we go. I got the other PRC 174. I figured, oh, you know what? Dave's going to be on his morning, so I'll switch over to that. And, you know, it's, of course, all negative modulation, but, yeah, all you got to do is listen with your left ear instead of your right ear, and it works. And right now, I'm using the long wire as long as it is still up there. Holy cow, the wind is pretty gusty. And run out on the flagpole. Yeah. Hopefully keep the mass from becoming multiple pieces. Anyhow, okay, we'll listen around for Carla in a little bit, but for now, back up to Chuck, K0DWC, NU6F.
Okay, Ron, NU6F, K0DWC. Well, that's really neat. 2 PRC 174s on. That's really cool. Both you guys sound real military, as does Mike. That ATR 11 sounds fabulous for what it is. I mean, that's a neat rig. Oh, man. Absolutely no problem with anybody. Bill's coming in real well. Everybody else is just pounding in. Steve's got a really good signal. Mike, Dave, Henry's knocking the dust off the windowsill, and Ron, like I said, you and Dave sound real militarish this morning. So congratulations on that, guys. 2 of them on in one time. That's pretty neat. Great job. So, all right. Well, let's see if there's anybody else out there that wants to get in on the tail end and be on the 7 for the Vintage Military Radio, and that you can come now and check in.
W7MKA.
Hey, there's Robert, W7MKA. Good morning, Robert. You're down just a little bit, but your Q5 copy. I got you in the 7 spot. Go ahead and make a transmission, Robert, and send it back up to me, K0DWC. So W7MKA, go ahead.
Yeah, I might get it myself. Might be about as good as we can get. This current's real low for some reason. According to the net, we're on the BC610 and BC342 this morning. Because there's our backup. My first plan for the 7 has worked out. Good signals I can even hear Bill, which is unusual. So nobody's been strong, but I think there's coffee so far. And we've been short. Back at the K0DWC to take it.
Okay, Robert. W7MKA, K0DWC. Yeah, you're down a little bit. I got a little bit of QSB on you, but I copied 100% of your transmission there on the BC610 with the BC342. That's a great set. Alrighty. Is there a number 8 out there? I'd like to check in tail end first round. Come now, please. Okay, nothing heard. Well, at least here anyway, we don't have any kind of high wind or anything yet. When I went out earlier this morning to feed the horses, it was a little breezy, but I mean, it was, it would come and go. It was no big deal, but I guess the wind hasn't hit here yet. So we'll be waiting for it. Yeah, I know what you mean about the antenna deal. I've totally got to take my tower down and totally dismantle it to get it situated right. When I put it up, I didn't put it up right. Got to get it down and get it apart and get all that stuff situated and then put it back up the correct way. So, yeah, that's going to be, I think, a summer project. Now, all that does is hold the TA32 Junior. It doesn't have anything to do with the inverted V or any of that. So that's what Carla used to do her DXing a while back. So I got to make sure I get that back up. So I think she's going to want to get back on that, get going on the DXing again. She really liked doing that. And she got away from it for a while, and then this happened with the antenna, so hopefully we can get that right and get it back up again. So anyway, this week's been okay. I spent some time in Reno, going through a bunch of stuff down there, and came home, and then we had to situate the storage container that was delivered to us a couple weeks ago. That was a chore, but we got it done and got it situated in the correct spot. So that's that's quite an undertaking, even with 2 people. So anyway, that's kind of what we've been doing this past week. Wore my butt out, I can tell you that. But so much for that. So let's go ahead and we'll start round. Well, let me make one more call out. Is there a number 8 out there that would like to check in Vintage Military Radio and that come now? sounded like foreign broadcast, but that was about it. We'll head up to the top to Mike, W7MS, to take it. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, well, let me, well, guess what? Frequency counter says I'm on frequency, which is always good news. Okay, K0DWC W7MS. Well, good reception from all. Congratulations on the PRC 174 duo, and I'm sure we'll be hearing some more specifics from Dave as to what he had been up to with that specific device. And Chuck's worn out, Carla's sleeping in, and an ocean container. Well, that's we only want to hear when you have the second one delivered, Chuck. That means you're really getting expansive in filling up cargo containers. But good on that. Henry fixed his antenna issues, and Steve's on the usual stuff, but sounding great into Reno. And then there's Ron taking down the flag. I wonder if he had a bugle roll call there when he took the flag down. But we'll get specifics on that. On the ATR-11A, and just recently through the same source obtained the control box for the ATR-11A. That arrived yesterday. The unfortunate part is, number one is no schematic or documentation, so more reverse engineering to integrate that into the transmitter receiver. And there was someone else that was extremely interested in that control box on eBay, but it was a do or die. So I think I only had to contribute maybe a foot rather than an arm and a leg to take it home, or maybe it was maybe there was some tariff duties on that Canadian product. But it's in my hands, so we'll be working on that. Also obtained from the same source a few weeks ago the NDB beacon receiver down converter, which was another surprise. And fortunately, no one had any interest in that, but do have the matching. It's essentially a down converter to IF, whatever that IF may be, but there's no internal IF other than an image trap on the output. So that's another box to match the set here. And work on the National 600. Did integrate the antenna matching network to couple that relatively low impedance output with the secondary coil on the output tank circuit, and all that needed was about 5 microhenries of Series L on the unbalanced output configuration. So we integrated a little 10 microhenry roller inductor courtesy of E.F. Johnson, and used a it was what do I want to do for a turns counter? So we pulled a turns counter, a GE turns counter out of a BC 375 out of the junk box, which looks era appropriate since most of the turns counters are post-war and would totally be dissimilar to the year 1938. So that's set up. It was a little awkward to set the load and tune with a remote coupler, and finally got aggravated and decided I would do that, even though it's not painting season. So that brand new spiffy 5 1/4 inch rack panel is in its bright state of aluminum, but we'll get around to some form of gray paint here when it's painting season. Right now, possibly I could put it just outside with all these windstorms and have it maybe beat or sandblasted by Mother Nature, but that's not in the setup here. So Dave, tell us all about it. W6MQI W7MS.
K6DWC W7MS W6MQI. Well, sounds like you can be on the ATR as well. Well, it all sounds easy after the fact, but when you're working on a radio, it's not easy. Didn't have too much to get her going. I had to replace the power supply. All the electrolytics needed to get replaced, so I priced those out through Moser Electronics, and it was like, oh my God, it was like $80 some for like 13 capacitors. So I ended up buying a complete working power supply plug-in unit from N30C back east, and plug that in there. That cost me $30. So that was a deal. And the guy was real responsive, sent it real fast and everything. Kind of went back and forth on a couple emails. Guy seemed like a nice guy. But plugged it in, turned the radio on, the radio didn't work. Well, it worked, but I seemed like pulsing noises, beeping. Not really Morse code, but yeah, I guess you can call it Morse code sort of sound. And nothing else was going on. It didn't do any audio or anything, static. But when I key the mic, I could hear the tuner kind of clicking a little bit, or something clicking in there. So the radio was doing something. So, ended up doing some voltage checks. Everything looked good. I had one 15-volt line that wasn't where it was supposed to be. And so I decided to take the oscilloscope and look around, see if I could see some of the waveforms you're supposed to see. And I was touching here and then all of a sudden, bang, the radio started working. It's like, oh, crap. What did I do? So, anyway, it's been working since. This one continues. I don't know what decided to work inside, but I don't know. We'll see. But I did find a couple broken resistors on the motherboard and fix those. And then when I did first get it working, or when it decided to start working, I was on this frequency, 3974, into a dummy load, to see if I could hear myself on a receiver, and I couldn't hear myself. And what the heck? Yeah, and I tuned around, couldn't find myself anywhere. Okay, put it on a frequency counter. So when I was transmitting on 3974 with the radio, I was actually transmitting it on 23 megahertz. Oh, this ain't good. Well, come to find out, that was an easy fix. The megahertz push button switches was stuck in between. I didn't even see it. It was stuck in between two numbers, causing the radio, the brain to scramble. And so after cycling that thing a few times and making sure it was on 3 megs, bang, there I was. So all was good on that. And then I decided, Henry's talking about measuring power. I have a way of taking my oscilloscope and probing the RF line, and I measured the output power of the radio, and it puts out 19.63 watts, thereabouts. So, but yeah, it works real well. And like I said, so far no problems. I do have an extra one, unknown condition, for some spare parts, and I have the mobile mount as well that it's plugged into, and I had to do a little bit of work on the mobile mount. But other than that, everything's working. So, and Ron, you got any good tidbit information on the PR74? Send it my way. Not that I'm not interested in doing that external box you got, but anything you got would be appreciated. So, anyway, let's see. OSD, W674.
Let me break in there for just a second there, Steve. I heard Vern in there, K0DWC. Vern, I've got you in the number 8 spot. If nobody else checks in, you'll send it back up to me, K0DWC. So Robert, W7MKA, you'll turn it to Vern, K6VXY, and then Vern will turn it over to me. So W6SSP, go ahead, Steve. Thank you.
Okay, Chuck, very good. Yeah, I heard Vern and MK in there. Anyway, yeah, very good, Dave, on the on your PRC 174 project. Yeah, I always get a kick out of troubleshooting what people find, and the problem you had where switch was stuck between two positions is exactly what I dealt with in a 1051B many years ago. One of the sprockets on one of the chains had slipped a little bit, And boy, I could have spent hours and hours and hours finding that, but I just happened to look at the right place at the right time and found it. And that solved all the problems, all the little weird problems that thing had, and it's been working fine ever since. So pretty cool that you're able to get that going. And maybe you'll decide to fix up the parts set now that you're super familiar with them. Kind of like the GRC 106 projects all over again. Not a whole lot going on here. Dealing with a bad neighbor that's been harassing us for years and years and years, and takes up a lot of my time. Reading a lot about AM radio stuff and Miller rigs and some of the features they have. And I did get one thing in the mail this week, which is kind of neat. I didn't even know it existed. Is an original Collins sales flyer for the 32V1. I had no idea this thing was even made. And one of the guys that sells manuals and flyers and stuff said it was in good condition. Well, you know how that usually works out. But I have one, so it's kind of neat to go with the radio. And let's see, really looking forward to the Sonoma swap in about 5 weeks. Usually pick up a project or 3 there to kind of keep the juices flowing. And when the weather gets nicer, get back on the bench again. So, let's see, what else? I can't think of anything else to say, so we'll send it down to Bill. N6BCT, W6SSP.
Bravo, Charlie Tango. Been in military methods, right? The K0DWC retired that's really not getting impacted with this extra radio that I stand on or something, and it's not getting out to pig. I determined that the antenna has been a terrible SWR, and so if you try to trace it on that, it's not going to get any better output. There's a story here. Anyway, that's over the, and it's just this. Everybody put it right here and K0DWC Chuck.
Okay, Bill. N6 BCTWA7 YBS. Just watching the scope. All right. Well, good copy on everyone. And good morning to Robert, W7MKA, and to Vern, K6BXY. Robert, you had a really strong carrier in here. It was, good S9 carrier, but the audio was very low. I could hear you, but it was like you were modulating about maybe 20 or 30%. It really had no relation to as strong as the carrier was, so don't know what was going on there, but that was what I heard here coming out of the Ray Cal speaker. And let's see. Guy, I know where Mike is getting that stuff. I don't know what that guy does, but he comes up with some very cool stuff. I think he goes up into Canada and gets it, and then comes back, because he's always got really cool stuff. And of course, I got that ATD from him, the ADT transmitter, and it turned out very nice. He packed it very well, and it was as advertised. So I couldn't complain. And so anyway, very good on that. And let's see, the antenna situation, always got to watch that scope. You never know. I mean, that was my big indication that south leg had broken on the collinear array and was only held in place with the feed line. Big strain on that. Well, that ladder line, I'm using the 16 gauge stranded, and it's 108 feet of ladder line to run from the collinear array that's on the shop over here to the upstairs in the house. And so it's a pretty good strain on that feed line anyway. And then when you add the weight of, you know, a whole another 130 feet of wire, well, it was putting quite a strain on that ladder line. But it's fixed now, but as soon as it warms up, that whole antenna is going to get converted over into an extended double zep with new feed line. Well, it's going to be a whole new antenna, actually. But that has to wait until it gets a little bit warmer, or at least a little bit less windy. It's just, I mean, we can't hardly go a day without, you know, some tempest of some type coming up. Been working on the KWS1 and 75A4, and don't call them the Gold Twins. That's, you know, that's a no-no. But anyway, the KWS1, I hadn't tested the tubes in that thing in, I don't know, 20 years. And they, you know, I went through all 30-something tubes, no problem. They all tested like new. And I went through the 75A4, 22 tubes in that set, 3 bad ones. So I'm not, you know, not really bad, but bad enough. 16BA6 showed a short, but, you know, it's really not a short, but, you know, you replace them anyway. And it's, you know, just high leakage. And so anyway, we're getting ready to run that again, maybe next week, in the AM mode. And yeah, hopefully it'll be, the KWS1 will be a little bit more stable than it was last time. I found a couple little things with it, nothing serious, but just adjustments and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. So with that, over to Ron, NU6F, WA7, YBS.
Okay. Good deal, guys. Well, that went still something else. Well, we'll see how the antenna does. Anyhow, good deal on all, and no QRM, not much noise. I had that heck of a lot of noise. That's okay. Forgot about that, right? Motorcycle charger. Okay, we're our own worst enemy. And yeah, let's see. Going down the list hand. Robert, good deal on the BC610 342. Yeah. Well, although I was still able to copy with a low audio, but good deal. Henry on the saga of the sagging antenna and the ladder line that came to the rescue and did a yeoman's job of holding up its part of the bargain. And we will be waiting with bated breath for the KWS1 and how you cleaned out its shorts. 68 shorts, whatever it was. Bill, okay, on your signal I was having a tough time copying here about that time, the USBs were pretty bad. Steve, on the old familiar station, and hopefully you've got all your tree work done outside, the vegetation is all out of the way, and you don't have to deal with that. And Dave, good deal on the real BRC 174 instead of your clone that you're doing. And okay, on the beeping Lord, yeah, that's out of frequency. The lock always wants to wig out. That radio seems like it either everything works perfectly or it doesn't work. It's like I think. Look and see how complicated the scheme is for the auto tuner tied to the synthesizer, and every 10 kc you move, it goes ahead and resyncs everything on your first key down, and good deal on Brian and the power supply. Yeah, I keep telling this, you know, I don't know why you give that stuff away. I mean, yeah, crazy prices. It's like you say, why buy $80 worth of caps when $40 you're going to get a new tested supply for price. So, yeah, I was thinking I need to go ahead and buy some more spare parts. I do not have a spare parts unit, although I know quite a few of the guys that got radios, so if I really had to. And yeah, I won't be building another outboard via vocal control. Let me switch hands. Boy, this push to talk switch on the handset is bad for carpal tunnel. Finger switch. There we go. Okay, we're in right hand now. Anyhow, I'm on right hand. I don't know if that changed one sideband or not. Anyhow, but good deal on that, Mike, on more Canuck finds and the eBay wars. So I guess Henry knows the same guy too. And good deal on using the VCC-75 turn counter to make a matching antenna tuner. I'm sure that James Dillon would approve of it once you get the big job done and make it match. It's a beautiful thing. You know, how many times have you looked at that little roller inductor and said, I don't know, someday I'll use it for something. And Chuck, okay, on the playing musical chairs with containers, and I guess from what Mike says, you've got another one coming. So, you know, what good Nevada resident wouldn't have a couple of C-vans laying around? And I'm sure that they'll come to use, and they will be full in no time flat, like everything else. Yeah, let's see, and for boring 630-meter news, I've been on consistently on that pretty much every mornings. I'll do some HFCW, which is almost impossible to find any CWC on any band anymore. I will spend an hour searching all the HF bands to get one. That's the name of the game for the dinosaurs. And yeah, I can't remember if I told you guys last time, but a personal best on 630 meters, I was heard in New Zealand. And, you know, I found some more formulas, and I finally figured out how to use the Easy Next program, which I've never used, and downloaded that, played with it, and found it. Oh, I'm much more efficient than I thought. I am at the 2% point. A 2% efficient antenna. Wow. Anyhow, yeah, so I was, this week at least, I was one of two guys heard there in New Zealand. The other one being WOL in Mobile, Alabama, who has an old Coast Guard medium frequency site using their 250-foot tower and their radios and all. I don't know if 5 watts. So that much was great. I got the my new big variometer out there, 2-foot diameter coil, 330 feet of wire, number 10, and it's all motor controlled from here. It's a beautiful thing. And now PS line, mode, like that. And it looks like it'll make a great big slicer also. Alrighty, with that, I'll hand it up to Grand Pass. Robert, that's 7FKA.
What Henry's saying there. Here we got a bad spot on the gate, light gate control here. I'll keep it real short. Okay, on
Vern, K6VXY, it's your turn.
Okay, I got high SWR here, other problems. I didn't hear the last station at all. I better check out. I had major antenna problems this week, so I fixed my VTVM. That thing is working great. 73's all, but there's something very wrong with this antenna setup. You know, the squirrel. 73's all. I'll try to listen, but the signals are very weak.
Okay, Vern, we're sorry having some trouble there with the high SWR, but hopefully you'll be back next weekend. Is there anybody else that would like to check in on the tail end of the second round here and be number 9? You can come now. Okay, nothing heard. So, well, let's see here. Yeah, Mike, yeah, actually this is the third container. Now I've got two 8x20s and I've got one 8x24. You know, it would have been a lot easier just to bring in two 40-footers, but on this little country road that I live on, and you know, I've got a 12-foot gate. You know, the road ain't but about 20 feet wide anyway. You know, I don't think there's any way in heck they could get a 40-footer inside here on the property without taking some fence line down. So I've been having to get 20-footers. But anyway, that's container number 3 that we just adjusted. None of them are sitting on a foundation. They're all sitting pretty much on the ground. They're up just a little bit because of, you know, trying to balance them as best you can, front to rear, side to side. But, you know, when you put them on the ground like that, you know, you deal with the things settling and stuff, and periodically you've got to lift one side a bit up and shore it up. So that's kind of where we're at now. All of them look pretty good right now, but later on I might have to make an adjustment. But I think that's really bigger back east than it is out here, because out here we get like, what, 4 inches of rain a year. Back there it storms all the time, and they're always constantly dealing with soft ground. So a lot of those people back there put their containers on concrete foundations. But anyway, that's not the case for us. We just put them on the ground, so and then adjust them. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and do the 7-3 round, and we'll go on down the list. So this will be 73 round, fellas. So we'll go to W7MS. Mike, to take it. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, another frequency check. Oh my gosh, we've drifted 50 hertz during this last round. Pretty good for a Asian product of the independent and sovereign nation of Canada. W7MS. Great reception from all, and I would concur with Henry's comments on Robert's audio, but it was 100% reception here on both transmissions, so nice to hear him, and congratulations on his acquisition. And I think, you know, it's we're all having fun one way or another. Sorry to hear Steve has neighbor issues, but unless you're on 40 acres, it's almost a given. But yeah, we will go into that one. But yes, sirree. Let me see. Yeah, and projects, and I'm glad to hear it. At first, I was concerned that Henry may have inaugurated and installed the latest service bulletin into his KWS-1, but glad to hear that he just was doing some preventive maintenance, essentially. It went in for a little depot action there, so glad we'll be looking forward to hearing that in next week. And great on the PRC 174 roundups, and I do this one from Dave's standpoint, had to be the real deal as opposed to the other project because that was just too soon. So good on that. And obviously, you and Ron are involved in the .io group and know the players, and I know who to go to if I ever get an itch for a PRC 174. Two good sources here with real world experience in that transceiver. And basically additional projects here. I'm thinking of the last one, because usually people in the early stages of this disease get a Sprague T05, but I had one gifted to me a few weeks ago. And I was relieved because I go, this will be a really simple project on the bench. It'll be fun, a few cap changes, a little tweaking and peeking. Easy, as opposed to my last few projects, which have been very involved and actually, created a lot of neuron brain power to reach either a conclusion or to some midpoint. But that was a pleasure to do on that. So I actually have a T05 sitting in the closet. Will I ever use it? Well, I've got some great HP test equipment here, but I guess I can reform some caps with that puppy. And the iTube's really sexy, so I'm sure there'll be defenders of the TO series here in this final adios round. Also communicated with my son. He got the SP600 recapped, sent me a short video via text message, tuning around on some broadcast stations. But I did give him grief on an earlier conversation on the phone because you bought radio capacitors instead of axials. How dare you? Are they orange in color? And gave him a little, I don't think they're orange, but gave him some RAS. But he successfully replaced that dozens of deficient capacitors there in the SP600. So he's a happy camper, and no smoke. So I'm very impressed with my prodigy there. So with that, we'll say 7 3s, and just let us know, Chuck, when ocean container number 4 rolls in. We'll be looking forward to that. So that's you're king of the block there, king of the countryside. If you've got 3, I'm sure or you may have some stiff competition from adjoining property owners. But with that, over to Dave and 7 3s from Reno, W6MQI, W7MS.
All right, W7MS, W6MQI. All right, guys. Well, good net. And lots of information on people working on radios. Yep, PRC 174 on. And I think I might try to get another power supply from that guy back east. See if I can get the other one working. $30. Kind of hard to beat. I concur with Ron. These PTT buttons on these handsets. I gotta keep switching through. I've actually thought about maybe finding a clamp that I can clamp on the darn thing so I don't have to hold it. This way your forearm gets pumped after a while. Try to hold that button down. But anyway, guys, talk to you next week. That's it. That's every 3. Over to Steve, W6SSP, W6MQI.
Okay, 73 Dave, W6MQI, W6SSP. Yeah, very good on all. A lot of neat projects going on. And Yeah, very, congratulations to your son, Mike, on the fixing up the SP600. That's been one of my favorite shortwave receivers of all time. I don't know why. I just really like the darn things. I've got 6 of them here, which is 5 too many. But hey, I just can't pass up a good deal on those things. I've been through so many of them. I can almost do one in my sleep these days, like a few other things. And Henry, very good. Sounds like you've got a big antenna project ahead of you. Good that you found the problem with the one, but boy, 108 feet of feed line. Man, that's open wire feed line. That's pretty impressive. That's a long run there. And you know, you mentioned testing tubes. You only found 2 that were sort of bad, and that you know, it's pretty impressive. We're very, very lucky that the guys that designed these tubes in the first place made them so darn reliable. You know, we think of solid state and transistors and ICs as being reliable, but the fact of the matter is, I found anyway, that vacuum tubes can be even more reliable than solid state devices. I may have mentioned it in the past, but if not, my father was a tube engineer for decades. He worked for RCA, CBS Hytron, and finally Sylvania. Most of what he did was with CRTs, including the color CRT, the very first ones that were built. And he's seen all my collections of old radios and stuff, and he's absolutely amazed that tubes that are, 100 years old are still good. He swore up and down that as they designed tubes, they figured they would last no more than 5 years. And it wasn't just because of the filaments. Apparently the biggest problem they had to deal with was leakage. So the vacuum would get contaminated. And he said that was a problem they never really completely solved. But I don't know, it seems like they did. We've got so much tube stuff here, and rarely find a bad tube. Even in old junk I pick up at swap meets and stuff. Anyway, let's see, I think that's it for me. Probably won't be here next weekend. The local flea market is starting up, and occasionally you find a ham radio there. So I think I'll be going to that for a while. So say 73, talk to y'all hopefully soon, not too distant future. I'll send it over to Bill. N6BCT, W6SSP, 73 all.
Really great that day. And 23 for those that never saw it. And I'm going to turn it over to those who radio for 33 from here.
Okay, Bill, 73. Looks like I'm still got a problem. Yeah, I got the jitters on the, well, I see the feed line is really whipping around in the wind. That, who knows, I think that feed line really needs to be redesigned. Maybe I'll get some of that 14 gauge stranded feed line, or make my own. That's the way to go, make your own. Anyway, very good on all, and yes, no engineering, or what would you call them? Not MCOs, the upgrades from Collins. Yeah, on the KWS1 mic, there weren't that many. I think there was a for back EMF on one of the relay coils or something like that. I think they had a diode that you would put in, and a couple other things. There wasn't everything, and it wasn't anything like the 75A4 that had quite a few deals on that, which it needed. The ABC and some of that stuff was kind of crummy on the first 75A4s. But the KWS1 always seemed to work pretty good. And of course, I've had this one 55 years, so I have a little bit of experience with it. But at any rate, we'll see how it goes. It is mostly original, so there you go. We'll see. And let's see, I guess I'll better keep it going here because the conditions aren't getting any better. So I'll say 73. Everybody have a good one. I'll be net control next week, and we'll hope to hear everybody next Sunday. Over to Ron, NU6F, WA7, YBS.
Okay, I was going to leave a pregnant pause just in case we had one tail-end Charlie out there somewhere that wanted to check in. All right, guys. Yeah, signal's dropping off a little bit, but all in all, still good copy. And too bad, Vern, on the antenna issues and the squirrels. The squirrels' revenge. I'm sure we'll hear the rest of the story, like Paul Harvey would say. Albert, good hearing you check in this morning. And, who else is in the Northwest shows up? You old-timers on the net might be able to remember somebody, but I can't think of anybody. Bill, okay, on the situation there, not to say, nothing to change. And Steve, you're right, too. Always amazing. Instead of the first thing you look for, it's pretty much near the third or fourth thing you look for in a defunct radio. Dave, still listening out. Okay, on, getting hold of Brian, get spare parts. Yeah, I would need to get some other things to get that. The Lord, the brain is pretty critical. And to have to rebuild that with EFOMs and chips would be more of a chore. And Mike, okay, well, we'll see what happens if you find any more items from the 51st state, and see if I make sure. I'm waiting for Canadian terrorists to show up, thanks to our change in foreign policy. Alrighty, and yeah, I noticed the 50 hertz drift, right? But I'm glad you got it back in. And Chuck, you and Carla can bask in the sunshine and say that get the third container. And okay, and the road limiting any more collected. All right, guys. Yeah, another project. I'm doing more stuff. I'm trying to get together a station to take to the Azores. Turns out, Jerome and his wife Carolyn, both ham-print, boy, they're kind of jazzed on it too. So it'll be kind of a fun, sweet project. We'll have to figure it out. Alrighty, guys. We'll catch you later. Thanks, Chuck, for riding herd on the net. 73 K0DWC NU6F.
Okay, I think Robert's still there, W7MKA. Robert, you still on frequency?
He's signed, Chuck.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Mike. I didn't hear that. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, good net this morning. Mike, I forgot to congratulate you on the acquisition of the control box for the ATR-11A. Congratulations on that, and give Trevor our congratulations too for a job well done. That SP600's got a lot of T-zone capacitors in it. For him to go through all that with no problems, that's great. That's a great job right there. So give him our congratulations as well. And congratulations to Dave and Ron for the PRC 174 duo. That was pretty neat. And everybody came in really good today. Bill was, for whatever reason, I heard Bill was clear as a bell today. Bill, I hope you get the SWR on that antenna down, hopefully between now and next weekend. But anyway, guys, I'm going to close the net this morning, and thank you all for being there. You guys are the best. And we invite everybody back next week. As Henry said, he'll be net control next week, and we will talk to you guys then. So take care, have a good day and a good week ahead, and we'll be back next weekend. So this is K0DWC signing off, Dayton, Nevada. 7-3s, guys. Take care.
Okay, well, thanks, Chuck, and also 7-3s to Carla, W7MS.